Did you know the solution to mites, weak eggshells, and that awful coop smell might be something you're throwing away every single week? Most chicken keepers spend money fixing problems they could solve for free. If you're serious about stronger birds and higher profit without spending on things you don't need, subscribe now. This channel is where simple, overlooked systems turn into real results for your flock and your farm. And comment where you're watching from. I want to see how far smart chicken keepers are spread across the map. I tested this in my own flock. Within weeks, the difference shocked me. And no, it wasn't a supplement, not a chemical, not a special feed blend with a fancy label. But before I show you exactly what happened, let's talk about something most people ignore. After a heavy rain, that wet coop smell creeps in. You clean it, it comes back. You change bedding, it lingers. You buy sprays, powders, treatments. The smell fades for a few days, then returns. Then there are the parasites. You dust the birds, you clean the nesting boxes, you swear you've beaten the mites. 2 weeks later, they're back like nothing ever changed. Eggshells, some days they're solid, other days they feel paper thin. One cracks in your hand before you even get it to the kitchen. And the random digestive issues, loose droppings, sluggish hens, birds that just seem off for no clear reason. So you buy grit, supplements, electrolytes, special feed formulas, probiotics, sprays, powders. Money goes out, problems slowly creep back. Here's the uncomfortable question. What if the problem isn't what your chickens are missing? What if it's what you've removed from their environment? Modern coops are clean, managed, controlled, but sometimes in trying to sanitize everything, we strip away natural balancing elements that chickens evolved with. Old farmers didn't run to a store every time a hen sneezed. They didn't have shelves of labeled solutions. They used what they had. Nothing left the farm unused. Kitchen scraps fed pigs, manure fed soil, feathers stuffed pillows. Waste wasn't waste, it was a resource waiting for the right place. And here's something most people don't realize. The most powerful solutions on a farm are often the ones nobody is selling. Think about that. If something works, but no one can package it, brand it, or profit from it, it slowly disappears from conversation. And that's exactly what happened with this, because sitting quietly in backyards all over the world is one of the most overlooked farm tools you already have. Fireplace ash, natural hardwood ash, and charcoal. Before you roll your eyes, stay with me. This isn't about dumping ashes into your coop and hoping for magic. This is about understanding why this works, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let's start with something simple. Toxins. Every coop produces waste. Droppings break down, moisture builds, bacteria multiply, harmful compounds form as manure decomposes. Now here's where it gets interesting. Natural carbon, the kind found in clean hardwood ash and charcoal, is incredibly porous. Under a microscope, it looks like a sponge made of tiny tunnels and pockets. Those tiny pockets trap things, harmful compounds, excess moisture, odor molecules. Instead of floating in the air or sitting on surfaces, they bind to carbon. You're not masking a smell, you're trapping what causes it. And that awful coop smell after rain? That's gas buildup from decomposing droppings mixing with moisture. When carbon is present in the environment, it binds many of those odor molecules before they concentrate. The result? Cleaner air, less sting in your nose, less respiratory stress for your birds. And respiratory stress is one of the silent productivity killers in backyard flocks. Now let's talk about minerals. When clean hardwood burns completely, oak, maple, birch, ash wood, what remains isn't just gray dust. It contains trace minerals that trees pulled from deep in the soil over decades. Calcium, potassium, magnesium. In small, controlled amounts, those minerals can support your flock, especially hens producing eggs daily. But here's the key. You're not adding something artificial. You're restoring balance. Chickens in the wild dust bathe in dry soil. ash from burned brush, fine earth mixed with organic material. They instinctively seek it. Which brings us to parasites. Mites and lice thrive in moist, warm environments. They hide in bedding, cracks, and under feathers. Fine, dry ash changes that environment. When chickens dust bathe in a properly prepared mix, those fine particles work their way through feathers and onto the skin. For external parasites, that dryness is disruptive. It reduces their ability to cling and reproduce comfortably. It's not a poison. It's environmental control, and environmental control is always more sustainable than constant chemical treatment. Now let me tell you what happened when I tried this properly. At first, I was skeptical. It felt too simple. I had been fighting minor mite flare-ups every few months. Nothing severe, but enough to be annoying. The coop smell after storms bothered me, and I had 2 hens laying eggs that felt thinner than they should. Instead of buying another product, I adjusted the system. I created a deep dust bath area in a sunny, dry section of the run. Not just random dirt, a balanced mix. Within hours, the hens found it, and that's when I knew something was different. They didn't just step in it, they exploded into it. Full body rolls, wings flapping, eyes half closed in pure satisfaction. They burrowed deep, tossing the mixture over their backs like they had discovered treasure. If you've raised chickens long enough, you know the difference between casual scratching and genuine enthusiasm. This was enthusiasm. Over the next few days, something subtle shifted. The coop smell softened, not masked, reduced. After a week, I noticed fewer restless nighttime movements, the kind birds make when something is irritating their skin. Feathers began looking cleaner, glossier, less dusty even though they were bathing in dust. And those 2 hens? Eggshell strength improved gradually over the next few weeks, not overnight, but consistently. No new supplements, no feed change, just environmental correction. And that's when it hit me. This isn't a trick, it's a system that works because it supports natural behavior instead of fighting it. If this is already surprising you, hit subscribe. I test simple methods like this so you don't waste money guessing. Now let's break down the 5 powerful benefits clearly and quickly. First, parasite defense. Dry ash and fine charcoal create a hostile surface for mites and lice. Regular dust bathing becomes preventative maintenance instead of emergency response. Second, digestive support. When chickens peck at small amounts of charcoal in their environment, it can act like a natural internal filter. Carbon binds certain unwanted compounds in the gut and carries them out. Third, stronger eggshells. Clean hardwood ash contains natural calcium compounds. In moderation and properly introduced, it contributes to overall mineral availability in the environment. Fourth, cleaner air. Carbon binds odor-causing molecules. Less ammonia concentration means less respiratory irritation. Fifth, zero-cost productivity. You're turning something you would throw away into a functional part of your management system. And here's the wow moment. This isn't about sprinkling ash randomly. It's about designing your coop environment intelligently. Let's set this up the right way, because this only works when it's done correctly. Natural does not mean random. Step 1. Safe ash selection. This is critical. Only use ash from clean, untreated hardwood. Oak, maple, birch, ashwood, beech, hickory, fruit woods like apple or pear. The wood must be natural. No paint, no stain, no varnish, no pressure-treated lumber, no glued boards, no plywood, no scraps from construction sites. If you wouldn't cook over it, don't use the ash. Treated wood contains chemicals that do not disappear when burned. They concentrate in the ash, and that is not something you want anywhere near your flock. The ash should be fully cooled, completely cold, fine and powdery. No hidden embers, no sharp chunks. Sifted if needed. Simple, clean, dry. Step 2. Proper charcoal choice. Not briquettes. Never briquettes. Most charcoal briquettes contain binders, fillers, and additives. Some even include lighter fluid compounds. You want natural lump charcoal made from hardwood only, nothing added. Break it down into small pieces, not powder, not large chunks, roughly pea-sized or slightly smaller. You are not feeding buckets of charcoal, you are creating access to natural carbon in their environment. Moderation matters. Step 3, the dust bath formula. This is where everything comes together. Chickens need dust bathing. It is not optional behavior. It is maintenance. It is instinct. Instead of letting them dig random holes in damp soil, you give them a controlled, dry, mineral-rich bath zone. Here is the balanced mix. 50% dry sand or loose soil, 40% clean hardwood ash, 10% crushed natural lump charcoal. Mix it thoroughly. The sand provides structure and weight. The ash brings fine particles and minerals. The charcoal adds carbon structure. The bath area should be in a sunny location if possible. Sun keeps it dry, dry keeps it effective. Make it deep enough for a full body roll, at least several inches deep. Chickens don't just sprinkle dust, they dive into it. If it stays wet, it loses effectiveness. Which brings us to placement. Avoid low spots where rainwater collects. If your climate is wet, consider covering the bath area with a simple roof or placing it inside the run under shelter. Dryness is not a suggestion, it is the system. Step 4, bedding integration. This part is subtle but powerful. You can blend a small percentage of clean hardwood ash directly into coop bedding, not piles, not layers, lightly mixed in. This helps manage moisture and odor over time. It does not replace cleaning. It improves balance. Think enhancement, not overload. Now here is where many people make mistakes, and this is important. First mistake, using treated or unknown wood ash. I've seen people grab ash from backyard burn piles without knowing what was burned. Painted trim, old furniture, scrap wood. If you're unsure, don't use it. Second mistake, overloading feed with ash or charcoal. This is not a primary feed ingredient. Chickens will naturally peck at small amounts if available. That's enough. Do not mix large quantities into feed unless you deeply understand mineral balance. Too much can disrupt rather than support. Third mistake, letting the dust bath stay wet. Once moisture gets into that mix, it clumps. It loses fine particle structure. It becomes less effective against parasites. After heavy rain, stir it, dry it, refresh it. Maintenance is simple, but it is required. Fourth mistake, ignoring flock behavior. Your chickens will tell you if it's working. Are they using it daily? Are they relaxed during dust bathing? Do they return to it repeatedly? Behavior is feedback. And here's the truth. Natural does not mean careless. It means informed. When you understand why something works, you apply it correctly. If you're learning something new today, comment "natural method" below and tell me, do you raise layers or meat birds? I want to know what kind of flocks we're improving here. Now let's talk about long-term results. Because short-term excitement is one thing, sustained improvement is another. Over months, not days, I noticed fewer respiratory symptoms in my flock, less open-mouth breathing during humid stretches, less subtle coughing. The coop air felt lighter. Birds appeared calmer during heat waves. Stress behaviors decreased. Egg consistency stabilized. Shell thickness improved across the flock, not just in one or two hens. And here's something people rarely calculate. Lower stress means better feed conversion. Better feed conversion means more value per pound of feed, which means profit increases quietly, not from buying more, but from optimizing what already exists. Vet visits dropped. Parasite flare-ups became rare instead of routine. And because the system is built into the environment, it works daily without extra labor. That is sustainability, not chasing symptoms, designing balance. This is what real farm efficiency looks like, turning everyday waste into real value. hardwood ash used correctly, natural charcoal integrated intelligently, old wisdom applied with modern understanding. That is the heart of this channel. Hidden value, simple systems, practical results. We do not complicate what nature already designed to work, and we do not ignore what past farmers understood deeply. If you believe farming should be smarter, not more expensive, subscribe and turn on notifications, and share this with one chicken keeper who needs it. Let's bring back simple, powerful methods. Now let's zoom out, because this is bigger than ash, bigger than charcoal, bigger than one dust bath in the corner of a run. This is about how you think as a chicken keeper. Most problems on small farms aren't caused by a lack of products, they're caused by broken systems. We treat symptoms instead of adjusting environments. We react instead of design. But once you understand environmental control, everything shifts. Parasites thrive in moisture and neglect, so you reduce moisture, you increase dry dust access, you interrupt their life cycle without spraying chemicals every month. Respiratory irritation builds when ammonia concentrates, so you bind odor compounds naturally and improve air quality before it becomes a crisis. Eggshell weakness often signals mineral imbalance or stress, so you support mineral exposure through clean environmental inputs while reducing overall stress load. Do you see the pattern? You're not fighting chickens into health. You're allowing health to emerge from the environment. That's the difference. And here's something that separates experienced keepers from beginners. Experienced keepers observe first. They don't panic buy. They watch behavior. They notice feather condition. They pay attention to smell changes. They look at droppings. They listen to the sounds their flock makes at night. Ash and charcoal are not magic. They are tools inside a larger philosophy, a philosophy that says, use what nature already cycles, waste nothing, overcomplicate nothing, respect balance. Let's talk about one more overlooked advantage: resilience. When your flock relies completely on purchased solutions, you are dependent on supply chains, store availability, and rising prices. But when your system uses what your land already produces, hardwood, firewood, natural materials, you become more self-sufficient. If costs rise, your system still works. If stores close, your system still works. If trends change, your system still works. That is quiet power. And chickens respond well to stable systems. Less fluctuation, less chemical cycling, less environmental shock. Over time, you'll likely notice something subtle. Your flock becomes more predictable. Egg production stabilizes. Behavior becomes calmer. Seasonal transitions feel smoother. That's not a coincidence. That's environmental consistency. But let me ground this clearly. This is not a replacement for proper nutrition, not a replacement for clean water, not a replacement for good ventilation. It is a layer of intelligent support. And when layers stack correctly, they multiply results. Now imagine combining this with proper deep litter management, rotational ranging, sun exposure planning, wind flow awareness in coop design. Suddenly, you're not just raising chickens, you're engineering a balanced ecosystem on a small scale. That's when farming becomes efficient, not flashy, not trendy, efficient. And here's the part most people miss. When you solve problems at the environmental level, you stop chasing emergencies. You free up time, you reduce stress, you enjoy your flock more. Because you're not constantly putting out fires, you're maintaining equilibrium. That's the hidden value mindset. Look at what you already have, ask what it can become, apply it intentionally, observe results, adjust gently, repeat. And over time, small changes compound. Now let me leave you with this. Most flocks don't struggle because of what they lack. They struggle because of what's missing in their system. And sometimes the difference between constant problems and consistent production is one overlooked detail hiding in plain sight. So here's my question for you. What are you throwing away right now that could be increasing your farm's value? Have you tested ash or charcoal before? And did it change anything? Drop your comment if you're ready to stop chasing products and start designing systems. If you believe farming should be smarter, not more expensive, subscribe and turn on notifications, and share this with one serious chicken keeper who needs this. Let's build flocks that thrive because we understand more.